Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week so far, and if you're not, I hope things get better for you very soon. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are creating a villain OC together. Some of these have already been decided via Twitter, but I am going to be asking a couple of extra things for chat to decide as we go about making this character. But what we have so far is their gender is skeleton. They are 6 feet 9 inches tall. Nice. Their skin color, if they had skin, would be blue, but I've decided that their bones are blue because they are skeleton. They have 6 pupilless orbs for eyes that are pearlescent pink. Their hairstyle is going to be wispy and stringy. Their favorite bones, which have yet to be decided, are going to have stripes on them. Their style and aesthetic is 80s glam rock / rockabilly, so that should be fun to draw and figure out how to combine. Their accessory is an eldritch squid, who is yet to be named. Their personality trait is they are an apologetic extrovert, and they have 2 abilities. Their bones can rearrange to become tools or weapons, and also they can talk through them, so each end of the bone has a mouth. So it should be fun. I already have some of it started because skeleton anatomy is a lot to follow. I have a couple of references up because some of it I'm going to half-ass and a lot of it will be covered by clothing, but until I figure out which parts are going to be covered by clothing, I kind of wanted it to be sort of as close to semi-realism as we could get. It's not going to be extremely realistic. I mean, I don't really want to draw a realistic skeleton. That's not fun for me. But, you know. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. And this stream was made possible by all of the fantastic folks that donated to my charity stream a couple of weeks, like a month ago now. Time is weird soup. So thank you very much to everybody who participated and supported me with that. Alright, now we're gonna do... Let me zoom in on my reference here because I'm blind. I can't fucking see things. Okay. Collarbones are weird. I'm probably gonna cover that up with something, probably. Because I'm inevitably going to decide that I don't like how I drew it. Or that it looks wonky, and we're gonna just cover it with a bunch of stuff. Full disclaimer, I've had like a weird time talking today. I think my brain is thinking words faster than my mouth can say them. So I apologize if I am stumbling over my words a lot today. Not drunk, I promise. I'm just bad at talking. So as I was getting suggestions for this character, I kind of decided that it would make sense if they were like some sort of lich on account of all the bones. Not necessarily specific to, D&D, but it's all I know, so it's what I default to. Alright, we have like the center of the chest here. Again, I'm gonna try not to get... I'm not gonna be too worried if it's not 100% anatomically correct because, but I got time for that. I did want to finish this all in one stream in one night, and I don't want to be here until midnight, so I'm gonna have to make some sacrifices. Gerald! Lich up that bony boy! Hell yeah, how are you doing, friend? I hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. For some of today, I definitely thought it was Thursday, and I was like, hell yeah, I have D&D today, and then no, it is indeed not Thursday. It is not Thursday yet. Most of the ribcage is going to be covered by a very stylish leather jacket, but I did want to get some of it in there. Doing alright, tired from work, but glad to be home. I'm glad you're resting. I'm sorry work was tiresome. I hope your week has been going well. Alright, I'm not gonna go into too much detail there until I figure out what I'm doing with, like, clothes. And this boy has some, like, serious osteoporosis or something going on because I'm making his spine a little wibbly wobbly. Because I think it looks cooler that way. I don't know how many, like, I don't know how many of these fucking things you're supposed to have. I'm not counting them. I'm just doing what looks interesting. That's just gonna be the disclaimer of today. It's a fantasy skeleton. Figure it out. They are gonna have some rad pants. So I'm not gonna go crazy with these hip bones and like the detail here, but I am just gonna kind of like get kind of the gesture of them and like approximately where they would be. They are a bony boy. It's weird having to draw shapes knowing that fabric is going to go over them and then not skin or like any sort of fleshy bits. It's very weird. Okay. I'm not hating how that is turning out so far. And again, they are going to have a jacket, but I do want to put approximately where things are. So for outfit, I'm thinking, so they're an 80s glam rock, rockabilly. So I'm thinking like leather mini skirt or hot pants, a leather jacket, a sheer crop top, and I'm not doing full body, but if I was, they would absolutely be wearing like platform heel thigh highs that are just the most obnoxious metallic color you could think of, probably just gold, honestly. But I'm thinking a lot of leather, a lot of sparkle. Where is... Oh, and I also don't want to draw... I don't really want to draw skeleton hands because that's too tedious. So they are going to be wearing gloves. Because again, I don't really want to be here all night drawing it. I would much rather draw it quick and then get to the fun part of coloring in things sooner rather than later. So that's really going to be the most fun part for me personally. But that's their arm. And then there's like this weird extra bit to your arm. It is like kind of a nice refresher though, considering it's been a couple of years since I've taken any sort of anatomy class, like from the ground up anatomy. I think the last time I took an anatomy course I was in college, so it's been a while. Oh yes, we cannot forget the mouths on the ends of these bones. Because what's creepier than bones that can talk using the ends of themselves? Creepy. Too spoopy. I kind of want to have one that's like closed, like, Or it kind of looks like a crack, but we know it's a mouth. And I kind of imagine, like, the way this works is their bones kind of like, they're held together by magic, and their bones just kind of splinter apart and reform into the tools and stuff. That's kind of how I envisioned it being in my head. And sure, some of these bones have teeth. Why not? They're mouths. It's all spoopy. This is also pretty different than what I'm used to drawing, so it's actually very refreshing to be able to draw something a little bit creepier than my normal stuff. I don't get asked to draw creepy things very often. Mostly because, I mean, admittedly, it's not really my style. I don't consider myself particularly good at it, but it's fun. Hell yeah, for going out of the norm, get the spoopy going. Yeah, plus it's like, you know, it's almost Halloween. And I wasn't gonna be playing, you know, scary video games. Fuck that shit, you could not pay me enough money. I hope it is obvious enough that, like, these are mouths. I'll add, like, little speech bubbles so that you can more clearly tell. Might do some scary games this Saturday since I have it off. Ooh, might do some on the server. Hell yeah! If it's either before or after my Saturday game, I will absolutely watch that, because I love watching people play scary games because that means I don't have to do it. Do you have any that you're thinking you want to play? Man, I almost don't want to cover them up with clothes, but I'm going to anyway. See how long I go before I get too scared. Alien Isolation. I don't think I've heard of that one. What's that one about? Like, I could guess aliens, but, you know, I'm sure it's more than that. I'm gonna erase some of this because these are lines that we don't need. I was going to be good and do my clothes on a different layer, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Mostly because I've already started them on the same layer as everything else. I want to make it obvious that that is fabric. Long, creepy bone fingers, as you do. I feel like that's too long and creepy, though. We're gonna scoot that down a smidge. I do have limits of what actually looks interesting and what just looks wrong. It's based in the alien universe, and you investigate a ship that sent out a distress call, I think. All I know is it is fucking intense. I don't think I've seen... Gerald, you're gonna judge me, but I don't think I've seen any of the Alien movies. Or like Alien versus Predator. No, I've never watched any of them. Blasphemous, I know. Okay, I think I'm going to render their squid friend differently, in that I'm not going to give them lines. So I will do that afterwards. So now let's work on... Oh, first let's save. Now let's work on some clothes. Put some clothes on this skelly boy. They're so good, at least the first few. I've heard they're good. I guess they're just not really my thing. I don't know. I'm realizing I am picky when it comes to films. Alright, I am going to do this on a different layer because I don't know if I'm going to even like half of the stuff that I'm doing. All I know is this leather jacket has to be cropped because it just does. It's entirely fair, nothing wrong with that at all. I feel like I have gotten a lot more open to the types of movies that I am willing to sit through to see if I like them. Especially thanks to movie night in the server. That's been a lot of fun. And has really like kind of helped me push myself to watch different things. I don't even know why I'm so picky about movies. It's really because like I think my sense of humor has changed, and a lot of like my interests have changed, which is fine. People change. That's what happens. But I've been so happy with movie night. I can't wait to see what we do for Halloween. Yeah, I'm very excited. All right. So I'm gonna lower the opacity on this just a smidge so I don't get my lines confused. Because we're gonna do one of these. Like so. And then again on this side. The angle's a little bit different on that side though. Like that. Okay, and then I think I want, let's see. I don't want the sleeves to, so in a lot of these sort of like cropped style jackets that I'm seeing, the sleeves aren't necessarily fully to the wrist. They either come like three-quarter or half sleeve. I don't know anything about fashion. So I think I'm gonna go, I think I'm gonna do that 3/4-ish look. Or like, I think maybe, there's one very specific reference that I'm looking at. I think maybe they're just cuffed a little bit. I feel like that's super weird though. Oh, because that jacket, okay. That particular jacket is not leather. That makes sense. I was like, I don't really see people wearing, you know, cuffed leather jackets very often. It's because it's not really a thing. Let's see. Like, I see one where it's like faux cuffed, or has this little like dangly bit. I'm very good at words. I know what words are and what things are called. And then move again over here. Words are bullshit. That is correct. I think I actually want, okay. I want this to be up higher a little bit. Because over here it's going to be up higher. Because their collarbone kind of juts out. Not that you'd really be able to see it underneath the jacket, but that kind of is what makes up a lot of their shoulder. Skeletons are weird. I think I want that sleeve to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, and then like that. And then they have this weird little flappy bit. Somewhere that maybe looks a little bit too much like a weird like dress shirt, but it's fine. Oh, actually, I think I know what might help. So a lot of these jackets look like they're kind of bunched up at the sleeve. And I think it would help if it was more shaped like that, maybe? I'm really struggling with this sleeve shape. We'll see if that makes any more sense. I think I like that better. And then we're gonna kind of bunch this up a little bit more too. Which would make... It'd be easier to make more sense of it if it was actually bunched up at the elbow. But I feel like I have spent too much time trying to make sense of it, so I'm moving on. We can bump that up again, and we can start erasing some of these internal bits because they're covered now. And now I have a better sense of what parts of the rib cage I'm actually going to need to render out and draw. Oh boy, puns! Now I have to think of a good pun. Let's see. What is a good skeleton pun? My brain automatically just wants to like set something up to be like no bones about it, but nobody says that like in real life. Seems you have a real bone to pick with this villain. That's pretty good. I don't know, I feel like all my jokes today are really hollow. Did that count? It wasn't very good. Brain go burr. I bet I'll come up with a better one, like, well into the stream. And hopefully it'll make up for that really bad one. He's a very cheerful looking villain. He is very cheerful. They're just kind of like, oops, I'm gonna chop your head off now. Okay. I actually like that a lot, so we're gonna save. I will be here until my internet craps out again. It's been very spotty on and off today. Oh no! Well, hopefully it cooperates. Okay, now we can do, because I did say they're going to be wearing a sort of like mesh crop top underneath this. So I'm going to lay out the sort of like border for that. And that's going to be more obvious when I get to coloring. So if it doesn't make sense now, I promise it'll make sense later. You should make him a pirate. He could be part of a skeleton crew. He could be a pirate. I don't have like a occupation for this villain aside from they're a lich. So that could be possible. They could be a pirate lich. And hey, you wouldn't have to worry about scurvy. Because he doesn't have gums. Okay, now I can add some rib bones. For he is pirate lich. Hurrah, hurrah for the pirate lich. I'm also not going to be counting ribs because it's a fantasy skeleton. It's not correct. We'll be here all day. Or all evening. I will try to make it at least look like it's right, but no promises. I'm literally not counting them. I'm adding a bunch of squiggles until it looks like a rib cage. I also think that it's jutting out a little bit too much. I might disagree with that in a minute. No, I think that looks a little bit better. Alright, and now we're gonna throw... Alright. Do we want... It's gonna kind of be difficult to tell because I'm not doing a full body, but do we want hot pants, a leather miniskirt, or just leather pants? It has to be leather. That is a definite. Also, I'm gonna see if this light that I bought actually helps with my lighting. That's too bright. Okay. Okay. I hope that looks better. I got a ring light, but like a cheapy $10 ring light. So I'm not expecting fabulous things from it, but it is going to start getting dark earlier, and my setup is facing a window, and I don't have the greatest overhead light in here. So I was hoping that would help a little bit. Hot pants! Alright. Now, I feel like hot pants are gonna look a little ridiculous on a skeleton, but I'm here for it. Actually, let me... I do want to look up a specific pair of hot pants because I don't want it to just look like shorts because that's not entirely what we're going for. Yeah, they're gonna look weird because they don't have skin. So It's just kind of not quite the same. Although I guess hot pants are a little bit more higher-waisted than that, so... Again, that's going to be difficult to make work, but with the power of oops. With the power of oops. Ah! Oh my goodness! Hello! Ombi! Thank you so much for the raid! Hello, everybody! Oh my goodness, hi! I'm so sorry if this is your first time here. We're doing something a little bit different today. Hi, I'm Shay. I go by she, they pronouns, or they, she pronouns. I am primarily a fantasy / D&D illustrator. Today we're working on a villain OC that Twitter helped me create. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for all the follows. I will try to scroll through and say thank you to each of you individually as we go. Yeah, we're making a lich with a lot of their gender is skeleton, with a lot of different fun add-ons. So that's kind of what we're in the middle of doing right now. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Also, Ombi, hello. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since we've spoken. Thank you so much to Talisman and Javin Azrael for the follows. I hope I didn't totally ruin those names. You are so incredible. Thank you so much. I've never gotten a raid before. This is exciting. Welcome on in. Life's been keeping me far too busy. Ugh, I feel that. Very hard. Work has been very busy. But I'm glad to be able to do stuff like this with y'all. Right now we are drawing hot pants on a skeleton, as you do. So I hope some of you stick around. No obligation to do so, of course. This is your friendly reminder, if you haven't already, to stay hydrated and take any medication that you might need to take. Just take care of yourselves. Alright, so there is this pair of hot pants that kind of has, like, lacing in the front. I don't know that I want to do all that. But maybe, like, a cool zipper or something. Or, like, zipper pockets. They just got here in time for the good stuff? Yes. Yes, they did. Excellent timing. Yeah, I think having, like, a cheeky little sort of zipper moment down here. We're not going to worry too much about it, but I do want it to look a little bit more like leather, which we'll be able to get the point across a little bit better once we actually start coloring this in. I feel like there's too much material there. There's literally nothing to this lich, so it doesn't need to be that much there. And I feel like hot pants would have like fake pockets, you know? Like, what are you gonna put in a pair of hot pants? Some chapstick, maybe. If you're lucky. I've never worn hot pants in my life. I have no idea. Gotta take care of a few things, so mostly be lurking. No problem. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the lurks. You do what you gotta do, friend. That's why he's a villain, nothing in his pants. Don't you know every villain is lemons? Alright. So one of the little like quirks about this guy is they have stripes on their favorite bones. Which bones are going to be their favorite bones? I feel like probably at least one of their arm bones, but I'm not married to that idea. Also, we're gonna save again before I completely forget to. Can't be the humorous, you've covered them. Yeah, a lot of them is covered by clothing, but also they are supposed to be 80s glam rock / rockabilly style. So the rockabilly style is actually going to come into play with their hair, which is wispy and stringy. So let's see, I had a hairstyle reference that I wanted to use for this. I don't know about any of you, but I just absolutely live on Pinterest for references for things. That's not what I wanted. There's like this really cool pompadour style. Yeah, okay. Let's see. It's definitely got to be poofy, because that's kind of like the whole point of a pompadour. But it's not going to be very full. If that makes any sense? Like, I'm pretty much not going to be filling this in much at all with color. Like, these little wispies are kind of it. What I will do is I will erase a little bit. To kind of make it look wispy. I feel like we could give them a little bit more volume though. Like, I really want it to be kind of ridiculous of how much volume their practically non-existent hair has with this pompadour. Alright. I think they look pretty damn ridiculous, which I love. And I'm 100% for. Alright, we're gonna save again because I don't want to just completely ruin all of it with decisions that I make down the road. Alright, so now what I think we're gonna do, femur, we can do femur. Alright, I think what we're gonna do, oh, you know what we have to do? It's 80s glam rock, so obviously there has to be some like really obnoxiously bedazzled lightning bolt on their glove. Obviously. Maybe that's a little stereotypical, I don't know, but it's what I'm going for. We'll make that nice and sparkly when we go in with color, which is going to be very soon. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to lower... You know what, I think what we're actually going to end up doing is we're going to color over, because I'm super smart, and I ended up merging my layers too early. I do want to keep the, like, squid sort of shape here for their eldritch squid friend that they're going to have, but I am not going to do line art for them. I have a different idea for how I want to render them. Just clean up some of my lines here, and we are going to be keeping this very sketchy. So it's going to be a little bit less refined than my usual, like, commission work, because this isn't a commission. This is just silly spoopy stuffs. Okay, I'm gonna save that again. I do want to clean up some of these lines though. Oops. You know, if I had my eraser selected. Okay. Okay. I think I like that. I think I like that. Okay. Now we get to go ahead and do color. So Their skin color was decided to be blue, but they don't have skin, so their bones are going to be blue. And I kind of want them to be... Let's see. Kind of like a... I want them to look almost ethereal, you know? Is this the color I want to go for? That's a little bit too... I think that's a good starting color. I think that's a good color to start us out with. I am actually going to set this to multiply. I've been testing out a couple of different techniques for my line art lately. In which, so I have a sketching brush that I absolutely adore in Procreate that I just haven't been able to replicate in Paint Tool SAI yet. So what I typically do for a little bit more polished work is I'll do my rough and my cleaned sketches in Procreate, and then I bring them into Paint Tool SAI to kind of finish them off with lines and color and rendering. But recently I did a commission where I just did super meticulously clean lines with that same sketch brush. And I ended up really liking the sketch lines, you know? And I was like, I know if I go over these with my usual line art brush, which is the one that I'm doing the colors in currently, I was like, I know it's probably going to lose some of that charm that I really adore. I didn't really want to risk that. So I asked the client if they were okay with me trying a different technique, and they were close friends, so they said yes, of course. And I actually ended up loving it, in where I kept those lines and I just set them to multiply and just kind of colored as normal. And I really liked how it looked. It almost looked softer. And I'm always worried that maybe my lines are a little bit too harsh or trying to be too polished. And I say trying to be because I know that, like, I have my stabilizer on 14 because my hands are very shaky. So I know that my lines are never as clean as I would like for them to be. And I think some brushes just make it a little bit more obvious than others that that is the case. And I think I was maybe starting to fall into that a little bit. So I've been experimenting with a couple of different techniques since I am not taking commissions until 2022. Now that I am, I think, fully caught up with my wait list now. So now I'm just working on the donation sketches from the charity stream from a month ago or so, in between, you know, full-time work. And stuff like this, which is just fun and silly, and I get to try new things. And I have a couple of other projects in the hopper that I'm hoping to start sooner rather than later. But we'll see. They are personal projects. So I have a tendency to just kind of put them on the wayside and be like, oh, I can always do this another time. And then I take on more work, and then I never actually get around to doing any of those projects. So I'm trying not to do that this time. We'll see how that works out. Okay, I think I'm really liking this color so far. There are going to be a couple of places where I'm going to do a slightly darker gradient on it to just kind of give it a little bit more depth. You know, as much depth as a skeleton can have, I guess. Okay. Here we go. And again, this is not an anatomically, like, fully anatomically correct figure because I just didn't want to do it. I knew that if I tried to make it like 100% anatomically correct, I would just hate it. So it's close though. I think. I hope. I'm happy if it's close. I'm more interested in coloring the leather jacket that this Skelly boy is wearing. I feel like that's maybe too large of a gap between some of these ribs, but that's okay. And they are wearing a mesh crop top. Because why not? Alright, there we go. I hope everybody's having a good week so far. It's already Wednesday, which is kind of wild. It's almost Halloween, which is exciting. I personally don't really have many plans for Halloween. I think I'm gonna sit in on a movie night with some friends. Before that, I don't really have any plans. Maybe I'll stream if I have the energy to do so. I also have a lot of laundry to do. Not that I want to do my laundry, but you know, kind of have to because I'm an adult and I need to wear clothes. I'm gonna save again. I actually really like how the line art is settling over the colors with the multiply layer. I think it makes it look extra spooky. Extra spoopy. Oh man, I know. So I know I'm not currently doing a D&D art stream, but I did get the alternative cover art version of Fizban's Treasury of Dragons yesterday, and I am so excited. I don't think I've ever fully read a D&D book like front to back in one sitting before until yesterday. I'm just so excited. I want all the Dargans. Give me all the lore. Give me all the spells. Give me all the different types of Dargans and monsters. Give me all the hordes. I'm so ready. So excited. Also, it's just an absolutely gorgeous art cover. And I've never been able to get an alternate art cover copy of any of the books that I have from Wizards. Which is a shame because a lot of them are from some of my favorite artists, like Hydra74. He does a lot of their covers. He's done the past couple. He works very closely with them. He does all of this stuff in Illustrator, which just blows my freaking mind. I wish I was better at Illustrator. Also, I have a feeling maybe this ring light isn't actually doing me any favors. But we're gonna roll with it. So these bones, one of his abilities is that they can rearrange them to become tools or weapons, but also each bone can talk. So each of the bones ends in a mouth. And I thought it would be really cool to kind of draw them in mid-transformation, because that's kind of the only way you would really see the ends of the bones. I'm gonna add little speech bubbles at some point to make it a little bit more obvious that they're talking. But I just thought it was super creepy, and I love the suggestion. Because I don't usually draw like creepy stuff. Creepy's not really usually my thing. So I super appreciate everybody who helped out on Twitter in making these decisions, because I think everybody came up with a really cool villain character. who, by the way, chat, still doesn't have a name, so if anybody wants to throw out suggestions for a name for this Skelly boy, please do. I'll go down the list again of stuff that we already have predetermined. Their gender is skeleton. They are 6'9", nice. Their bone color is blue. Their eyes are 6 pupilless orbs that are going to be pearlescent pink. Their hair is wispy and stringy. They have stripes on their favorite bones. Their style is 80s glam rock / rockabilly. Their accessory is an eldritch squid. Their personality trait is apologetic extrovert. And I already went over their ability, but their bones are arranged to become tools and weapons. Also, each bone and has a mouth and can talk, which is super creepy. His name should be Napoleon Bonaparte. I like that. That's definitely in the running. Their squid friend is also going to need a name. So maybe if we have some suggestions that don't end up getting picked for their name, we can make it the name of their little Eldritch Squid buddy. That was really hard to say. Part of me wants it to be something like completely mundane, like Frank. Or like, you know, just something totally normal. Alright, we're gonna lock that layer, and then I'm gonna throw some darker shades in some of these spots. Where I think I want it to go kind of like that. Just to kind of give it a little bit more depth. Not quite shading, necessarily, because we are going to do some very light shading at some point. So I am going to be blending most of this out, but kind of like almost like a precursor to the shading, just to make it a little bit more interesting to look at. And his Squid Buddy's special sauce. Oh, it's that time of year my husband reminded me, so maybe he's Ronald McRib. I actually kind of like just Ron. Short for Ronald McRib. I feel like that's just the right touch of ridiculous for this character. I also feel like I want a little bit of green action in here too. Like, I do want it to kind of look like they're maybe a little bit spectral, because the way I kind of had it in my head, and I am going to add to like this little transformation of their weapon, but like when they do their transformation for it, it does kind of have some sort of like spectral energy wrapping around it. So I think having some of that in here is going to help with that. I'm going to save so that I don't forget. Okay. And then what I also want to do is... No, I want it to be even darker than that. Maybe like, not quite black, but like really, really, really dark blue in here so that their eyes really pop. Kind of like that. Alright, before I forget, Ronald, Ron, McRib, And their squid name. Special sauce. Should their favorite food be something ironic? I'm not gonna draw it. I just thought it'd be fun to like build more off of this character to give them like a favorite food, maybe another accessory that I could add, and like a catchphrase that they could be saying. I'm actually really happy with how this is turning out so far. Not to like toot my own horn or whatever, but I don't normally draw skeletons. And this one doesn't suck. Alright, so their eyes are pearlescent pink. So we're going to do a couple of different colors in here that we're going to build up. But I want to get kind of the basics down. It's like pearls do kind of still have like blue-ish tones. So I do want to add some of that blue back in there, and then slightly brighter pink. Kind of like that. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to throw a shine layer over it, and we're going to throw it over that. And I'm going to play around with some of these colors and see which ones I like better. That might be a little bit too much actually, so maybe not a shine. Maybe we want it to be, we'll do normal just for now. Let's see if we can't make it look like it's glowing a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't want it to be like super obvious. And then we're gonna do another layer over that. Kind of go over some of the lines. And I don't want it to be super. I don't want it to be like really obvious. I want it to be pretty subtle. Their eyes aren't like glowing. There we go. I think that's just spoopy enough. And I'm not going to shade every individual tooth. I think that's sufficiently creepy. Hello, DS Nemo 1. Thanks for joining us on the stream today. How are you doing? How is your day so far? Okay, so now we're gonna do this mesh shirt, which I do want to lean a little bit more purple. It's not gonna be completely black. I think that's not dark enough. I do want it to be pretty dark though, because we're going to be adjusting the opacity of it to kind of make it look like it's mesh and see-through. So it's gonna look a little weird for a little bit. Just bear with me. I'm doing pretty well. How are you? I had a very busy day at work today, so I'm glad to I'm glad to just be doing some chill drawing today. Chill vibes only here. My sister just told me that his name should be Otis. Fashionably thin and fashionably late. It's a family joke. I love it. Maybe that could be their middle name. Ronald Otis McRib. They're a lich. They could have as many names as they want. I'm fine, thanks. Nice design for your skeleton. Thank you so much. Some of my Twitter followers helped me design them. And then I do have a couple of extra goodies that if anybody in chat wants to take a stab at. We still need their favorite food, maybe an extra accessory to add to their outfit, and a catchphrase. But this stream is thanks to all of my lovely followers and supporters that donated for my Nerf Cancer charity art stream about a month ago. We hit pretty much all of our major goals, which is amazing. And a create a character stream was one of the milestones, and we hit that pretty early on. And I had done a create a D&D character stream a while ago, and that was a lot of fun. So I thought maybe we could, because it was gonna be, it's October, so I thought maybe we could be a little spoopy and have it be a villain, and everybody seemed really excited about that, so I'm very excited to bring them to life. Catchphrase should be, I have a bone to pick with you. I feel like that's like a given, right? Like, is that too obvious? I'm not knocking it. I'm just wondering if anybody has any other suggestions before I go ahead and make that the tried and true. Alright, and I do think I want, let's see, a little bit of texture on this mesh shirt. It's not fishnet, so I don't need to do, I don't need to go crazy with the textured lines and stuff. Okay. I do definitely want their hot pants to be gold. That I've already decided. So we're gonna go kind of that mid-tone color. Actually, maybe darker. Because we want to leave enough room to do the shiny bits. To make them look a little bit more like satiny. Hot pants are made out of satin, right? Or like polyester? I don't know. I'm not fashionable. And I've never worn hot pants in my entire life. So all I know is I want them to have like a sheen to them. I wanna be shiny. And I think that's the most of that I can sing without getting a copyright strike. And I literally just made affiliate, so let's not ruin that right off the bat. I don't stream every day. I try to stream Mondays and Wednesdays, and at least one Sunday a month. I do have a full-time job outside of streaming and outside of my freelance illustration, and that kind of obviously takes priority. So I don't stream as frequently as I would like to, but I feel like I'm in a pretty good schedule right now in that I don't feel pressured and I don't feel overwhelmed by the amount of times I'm streaming. I don't plan on trying to make partner or anything like that. I was genuinely just so blown away by the support when I hit affiliate, so I am a-okay with that. Yeah, I do try to stick to a regular schedule as best as I can. Life kind of gets in the way, as life wants to do. But I do my best. Let's see. I'm not sold on that color, actually. Let's see. I was originally thinking maybe like a deep purple for the... Ooh. Okay. Is that like too much? I know we're going to... I know we gotta go with like 80s glam rock / rockabilly. I feel like that's maybe a good color with like maybe some flashes of hot pink. How about I'm the skeleton in your closet? I like that. Yes, I do try to do, I try to stick to 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I usually stream for about 2 hours maximum. Unless I'm like really in the zone. Burnt orange, that's an 80s color. Ooh. Okay, do we want to do burnt orange for the jacket, or do we want to do burnt orange like accents? I was very tempted to go with like a fuchsia or like a nice red, but I'm kind of digging the purple here. I might change my mind later. That's why I did it on another layer. Yep, 6 p.m. Eastern, Mondays and Wednesdays. I usually end up working on some sort of D&D character, usually, whether it's a commission or one of my own characters, but not all the time. I'm getting to the point where, like, I don't have commissions to work on, and I don't plan on opening my commissions until 2022, for my own sanity. So I am trying to figure out some new and exciting things to work on stream. And I have been playing Final Fantasy online lately, because also part of my milestone incentives for my charity stream a while ago was if we hit a certain amount of money, I was going to do a Final Fantasy raid with my husband and his guild, having literally never played Final Fantasy before in my entire life, starting from square one, learning the game the past couple of weeks. I'm level 30, and I did my first like 3 dungeons the other day, and I didn't suck at it, so we love to see it. I play a very tall, very hot dragon boy named Kadan, and I am a lancer because what is defense? Only offense. I'm very good at DPS, and I kind of didn't want to play a healer support class because I feel like I always play a healer support class, and I wanted to be different this time. You're very welcome. I am always happy to answer any questions that anybody has about my streaming schedule or my art or pretty much anything, so long as it's not like an incredible invasion of privacy, obviously. I'm gonna save before I lose my progress. No, I don't name my layers. I know I really should, but I just don't have the... by the time I realize I should, I'm already going to merge them, so... Thank you so much, DSNemo1, for the follow. I really appreciate it. Alright, so we're not going to be doing a lot of shading on this. I'm going to be keeping it very simple. But that's also mostly because there's a lot of like cool effects that I want to add that I kind of want to take priority over making it like look believable. Okay, I'm liking how this is turning out. I'm second guessing the purple, if I'm being honest with y'all. But we'll see how it all looks when it comes together. How does your neck connect to your spine? That's what I was missing. It didn't look right, and I couldn't figure out why it didn't look right. I'm missing the neck, the rest of your spine of the parts. There we go. That's what's supposed to be there. I was like, there's something else that I'm super missing here. And I was also trying to figure out, like, okay, what's negative space and what is supposed to be bone. Maybe a raid in the future. Yes. So when I agreed to do the raid in Final Fantasy, I didn't realize that you have to finish the entire storyline first. And also, I don't know if maybe this is just specific to the raids that the guild is doing currently, but I also have to be at least level 60. So, like, I'm halfway there. I am, disclaimer, I'm not good at video games, which is why I don't typically stream them. But if enough people are down to watch me absolutely struggle and make an ass of myself, I would be willing to figure out how to stream Final Fantasy. On the flip side of that, I have been meaning to get into Stardew Valley again, because I am more of a chill game player. Like, sidebar, the Nintendo Direct for Animal Crossing, I was literally foaming at the mouth the entire time. I think I was literally screaming, like, from the beginning, and I don't think I stopped yelling about how amazing everything was until 20 minutes after it was over. I'm so excited. And I'm kind of mad because when everything releases, I'm going to be on a work trip, and I'm not going to have time to play it until after I get back. I'm sad. I might have time to play it a little bit on the plane on the way home, but we'll see. Alright, how are we feeling about the purple? I'm coming back around to it, honestly. I'm just gonna keep going back and forth on this. It's like the other games, raids are endgame content, and so yeah, you have to be top level, which makes sense. Someday maybe I'll stream my World of Warcraft in the Discord channel so you guys can see how lame I really am. I would love to watch you play World of Warcraft, and you can't be any more lame than I am, so we're all in the same lame boat. But I'm sure you do just fine. No problem. It's art too in my channel, so if you draw too, it's very good. I'll have to check out your channel sometime. I feel like I want to watch more streams, and then a lot of the ones that I end up like catching once in a while either go a really long time in between streams, and then by the time they have another one I'm busy and I can't watch it, and then I'm like, oh, I really wish I could have watched it. Or like I just freaking forget. Like, I have the notifications on my phone for when people go live, but I'm fortunate in that I have a desk job, and a lot of the time I can just kind of tune in and lurk and like listen to people's streams every once in a while, but not all the time. Like right now we're pretty damn busy. I was not given a hair color for this Skelly boy, so I'm just going with a darker blue unless somebody decides otherwise. I might even make it darker than that, but I'm also not filling it in entirely because it's supposed to be wispy and stringy. And even though it's like a pompadour, that's what it's called, right? That's what this hairstyle is called? Pompadour? I hope so, because that's what I've been calling it this whole time. I'm sure somebody on the internet somewhere will tell me I'm wrong and inform me. I'm pretty sure I can't stream or raid because I have to be in our channel for chat, but you could watch me do my daily chores. What color is the glove? I half want it to be a sparkly Michael Jackson glove, and I half want it to be the burnt orange, or maybe chartreuse. What if, hear me out, what if like an obnoxious fuchsia and then that burnt orange? And then it's very sparkly like a Michael Jackson glove. I feel like we can make that work. Hope you are welcome in my channel. We don't have the same language. Oh, that's okay. Art goes beyond barriers and language, and I feel like so do video games and stuff like that. I wish I knew more languages, honestly. I took French in high school, and I did not stick with it, and I really wish that I did, but I super didn't. Okay, let's pick a super obnoxious color, like this fuchsia. Okay, so I'm thinking like fuchsia, and then maybe this gold, and then like burnt orange. Does the orange need to be more burnt? Do we think? That works? Yes, fantastic. Yeah, I took 5 years of French in high school. Well, sorry. I took a year of French in middle school, 4 years of it in high school, and then I never really stuck with it. Like, and I really wish I did, but like, and my high school and my middle school only offered Spanish or French, and Spanish maybe would have been a little bit more useful in the grand scheme of things, but I was a dumb middle schooler and was like, well, everybody's taking Spanish, so I have to not take Spanish because I'm too cool or whatever the fuck. And also I can't roll my R's to save my life, so I was like, maybe I could just do French. Maybe I'll have an easier time pronouncing French and learning French. And I feel like I did. Like, I enjoyed learning French. But I haven't... It has not stuck with me. Like, I recognize some words still. Please don't ask me to conjugate anything. I was always so bad at that. You know, half of learning an entire language is conjugating verbs and shit. Yeah, I was just really bad at it. And yeah, it just never stuck, and I never had a reason to speak it outside of class, so it just poof went away. If I was like stranded somewhere and people only spoke French, I could maybe potentially get by enough to like figure out how to get home or whatever. But I can't hold I can't hold a conversation in French. For reminding me of your studies in French, yes. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. It was certainly a time. Alright, we're gonna save. I've decided I want the sort of like hardware on their jacket to be gold. Okay. How are we looking? Alright, and I'm gonna add, there's gonna be a lot of sparklies and there's gonna be a lot of shine on this Skelly boy. I think I want some of their hair to kind of be like just a little bit wispier. There we go. Carolyn, I can't tell if you're trying to bait me into speaking French on stream, but I'm not gonna do it because it's awful. Although a character for my for one of the campaigns that I'm writing is going to have a French accent, and I should probably like practice that. What layer is this? They ask, knowing full well that if they fucking labeled anything, they would know. Okay, that's not the one I was looking for. Huh, that's why. There we go. I knew it didn't look right, and I couldn't figure out why. I figured it out. Okay, now I'm gonna do their Eldritch Squid friendo. I'm trying to figure out what the best layer to have them on would be. Like, where in the like layer structure tree I need it to be in order for it to make sense. I think I want it to go, you know, I think it is just going to be easier if I throw it over top of everything and then just cut out where it doesn't need to be. What color should special sauce the Eldritch Squid be? I didn't know you lived in Switzerland when you were a kid. That's awesome. Boo, internet. Well, while we figure out what color they're going to be, I'm going to... I kind of want... Yeah, okay. I think I want to do that. So I kind of wanted to have like this wispy sort of energy that kind of attaches them together almost, and like maybe comes out of these mouths that are on the bones, which are words that I never thought I would say in a sentence, but here we are. What's gonna be purple? Also, Birdman, hello! Welcome on in. Yes, we're deciding on extra accessory. I need to find out what color our little Eldritch Squiddy friend is going to be. Special sauce. Oh, Carolyn suggested a catchphrase that I really liked earlier. What was it? It wasn't bone to pick. Oh, I'm the skeleton in your closet. I'm gonna write that down because I actually did really like that. So, favorite food, an extra accessory that we could draw, and I do need to figure out what color our little squid friend is going to be. What layer did I draw that on? It's on this one. In your closet. Yeah. There we go. Save again. Let's see. I'm not entirely sold on this color, but we will have to see how it looks. I do think I want it to be blended out a bit, though. Tacos? Hell yeah. Oops. Their favorite food is now tacos. Although I guess it's kind of hard for a skeleton to have a favorite food because it just goes right through them. I also like tacos, so that gets a little heart next to it. I'm gonna be really sad if Carolyn missed that pun because I struggled so fucking hard earlier to come up with the skeleton pun when they redeemed that for their channel points. And I knew I was gonna eventually make it up to them, and then I don't think they're in chat anymore. I think their internet pooped out. So Carolyn, if you're still there, that one was for you. Posture check, thank you. I'm the worst at posture. Oh, I don't think you could hear that, but like 5 different bones in my back just cracked. Oh boy. I even have a better chair than I used to, but it's still not like great. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over this layer. I'm gonna throw on the shine. Now I am going to mess around a little bit with the color because this layer is kind of weird in how it works, but to get it to have like that extra sort of shininess to it, like, and make it look like it's almost glowing without actually doing a glowy effect on it. That's kind of how I start it. And then I blend out in some places, especially with this, because I do want it to look a little bit more ghosty. If it's not over top of that green, it's not really gonna be the exact color that I want it to be, but that's okay. This is one of those pieces where I'm okay if things aren't, you know, perfect, which is rare for me. I'm trying to get better at that. Of like, I would rather a piece look cool rather than perfect. And as a former gifted child, that's extremely difficult to wrap my head around. Alright, I also want little sparkly, like little shiny bits. So we're gonna throw little shinies in here. And I think I also want to bump up the saturation on that later. Don't let me forget to do that. And then I throw a little bit of an airbrush on there. Just a little bit. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. And I think I'm quite happy with that. I might end up changing the background color to make it pop a little bit better. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, you know what I do think I want to do, though? Because I was worried about this earlier. I was worried that it wasn't obvious enough that these bones are actually, like, the ends of these bones are mouths. So I think making it very obvious that this energy is coming from them might help that. So making their mouths all the same color as this spoopy stuff might make sense. Bye, DS Nemo. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you sleep well, friend. And thanks for joining us for the stream. Bye. Save again. All right, I think I want special sauce to be light purple, like a lavender. Because purple was suggested earlier, and I really dig it. But I want it to be different enough from the purple jacket. There we go. Okay. So this is an eldritch squid. I get to decide what that means. And I don't know, to me that just means probably a lot more tentacles than they're supposed to have. Welcome back, Carolyn. You get to hear me talk about tentacles. As we do. And a lot more eyes than they're supposed to have. And that's kind of what I'm going for. I think I want... what I really want is for this background to be a different color. But then I need to set that to multiply. I think maybe that might be better. And I also don't want them to be entirely corporeal even. So that's why I'm gonna see how it looks with this marker brush. And also it might help push some of these shapes even further behind. I am going to be erasing the parts that I don't want to overlap, but I wanted to make sure that I had cool looking shapes before worrying about where they were going to cut off at. If that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. Now I don't know how many tentacles squids typically have. Is it 8? Isn't that what is like part of the difference between like an octopus and a squid is the amount of legs they have, as well as like their body shape? I don't know. I'm not a marine biologist. But they're gonna have more tentacles than that. Or maybe it's like the shapes of their tentacles, because they don't they have those like elongated shapes? It's an eldritch squid, so it can look however I want it to look, but I feel like that was part of it, is they have those like weird weird shaped suckers at the end. I'm kind of okay with some of their tentacles just kind of like disappearing into the abyss in the back. I feel like that makes them even more creepy. It's one of those things where, like, until you have to draw a thing, you're like, I know what things look like. And then you go to draw it and you're like, I don't know what anything looks like. I've never seen anything in my entire life. None of this makes any sense. They have 8 legs and 2 tentacles normally, so just give them a crap ton of squiggly things. Yep, that's the plan! Just way more squiggly bits than they realistically should have. In varying degrees of etherealness. Yeah. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the opacity, and then I'm going to just erase the parts that I don't need, because I do want Ron's hand to be overlapping special sauce. These are the wildest names, and I am here for it. How are we looking on time? Okay. Might end up going a little bit longer tonight, but that's okay. I haven't even gotten to shading it yet. Which, granted, I'm not actually going to be doing a ton of shading, so if anything, I'll just get all the fun stuff out on stream, and then I'll add the minimal shading that I plan on adding off stream before I post it later in the week. Because I do still need to go eat dinner at some point tonight. Okay. Here we go. Gonna save. Gonna add more. Just more squiggles that maybe don't make sense. I'm also gonna blend out. Oop, just kidding. Blend out some of those edges to make them really just kind of go back into the background even more so. Too spoopy. Okay, we're gonna erase some of that too. Save. Alright. I also decided I want them to have a bunch of eyes. And I kind of just want them to be like gross and inky black. Like maybe some of them are just kind of closed and like all happy that they're getting loved on or whatever. And the rest are just kind of round and inky and kind of gross. So if things with a lot of eyes squick you out, I don't blame you for tapping out here. No judgment there. It is why I put that in the title of this, because I knew this was going to be a thing at some point, and people aren't really into that. So some people aren't really into that. So no judgment. And maybe they have some eyeballs on the ends of, like, the tops of their suckers. That's not what this part of the tentacle is called, but, like, I don't know tentacle anatomy. If you do, that's nice. What you do in your free time is not my business. But just, like, a couple of extra eyeballs. Like, vague eye shapes along the tentacles, just to make it extra creepy. I feel like that's probably sufficiently creepy looking. Yeah, I think that is sufficiently creepy looking. I do want to lock my layer and just add a little bit of definition between some of these parts, because I don't want it to look like just a random blob, you know? Like, not full on shading it, but giving a little bit more depth. I'm sorry for how phallic squids look. I can't do anything about that. Okay. I do want to check one more thing. Because... Okay. There is something I forgot to do. We're going to take this ugly-ass burnt orange. We're going to bump it up a little bit because they have stripes on their favorite bone, and Carolyn suggested it be their femur, which you can't really see too much of. So I might also add it to another bone. But they have stripies. Oops. There we go. It kind of looks like a candy cane, maybe stripes. And then I think the hand with their glove is also a favorite of theirs. So they have some stripes on here too. I should know what this bone is called, and I don't. I'm sorry. It's been a long time since I took anatomy. Look at this freaking icon. Hello. The ulna and the radius, thank you. I knew one of them is radius, I couldn't remember what the other one was. Save. Okay. I've decided I want to add some light blue in here. Kind of give it, because I'm not going to be fully shading like I normally would, I do just want to give it a little bit of highlight like that. Save again. Okay. All right. Okay, so now what I want to do, I could do it on the same shine layer as this because it's not going to interfere with it. Now we're going to make things shiny. So we get to play around with the shine layer. Because I'm not 100% sure how much I want to go with this. It's going to be some trial and error, I feel like. It's usually quite a bit of blending and some mild erasing before I kind of get the vibe that I am going for with this technique. This is also sort of the technique that I use when I render like metal and stuff, but I also don't want it to be, because this isn't like, these pants aren't metal, I don't want it to be too shiny, you know? So we just kind of gradually build up. I don't have like a real light source for this piece, but that's okay. So just kind of winging it and going by what looks good. It's surprising, I know. Okay. And then I don't want quite that much. I feel like that's maybe not gonna, no, that's too much. I think that's good for now. I lied. I do want it to extend a little bit more. I'm gonna save. And then leather isn't super shiny, so I just need like a little bit. And that's gonna get blended out really quickly. what I kind of do is I just kind of carve out a little bit to make it a bit more of an interesting shape. Because this brush gives me, this brush gives me the sort of like opacity differences that I want, but not really the shape. So I kind of go in and I just do a little bit of cleanup. Sometimes I end up redoing a spot entirely. Sometimes it ends up working just fine. For these, I think it's working just fine. And then I'll blend out some of the edges so that they're not as harsh, especially for a softer material like leather. You don't want, it doesn't have like, depending on the lighting, it doesn't tend to have super sharp highlights unless you're in a very high contrast lighting environment, in which case it can. But I'm kind of envisioning this as more like a true leather, if that makes any sense. Like pleather and like latex will have a higher shine and a sharper shaped shine. Stuff like leather is a softer material, so it's going to have a softer shine to it. Same with glove. And I am going to do glitter, but I actually have, I'm probably going to do some touch-ups on this in Procreate, because I do have a brush that's very good for glitter in Procreate that I have not been able to recreate in Paint Tool SAI. So I might be doing a little bit of post-stream editing on this bad boy. However, we're gonna have some, I'll add some little glittery bits. Ahead of time, just to kind of build off of. And these are going to, I'm gonna blend these out a little bit. Because I don't need them to be quite so sharp-edged. There we go, like that. See, that's already a pretty good like glitter effect. But I have another brush that's like super good for it. And I think I want to go in and do, not on a shine layer, but on just some basic, very, 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 very basic shading. We're not going to go too crazy with it, especially since it's, you know, they're just a skeleton. They're just a skelly boy. You don't need to go too wild on it. I do want to go back in and add just a couple. Oh, nope, nope. Not quite that. There we go. I just really like adding little glowy bits to magic. I'm such a sucker for that kind of stuff. Like little particle effects. I hope this ring light. I'll be welcome back, and thank you. I'm actually very pleased with how it's turning out, if I'm being completely honest here. I knew I was gonna have fun with it, but I'm very pleased with how it's turning out. And then I think I want to add, to be like super creepy, because these are talking mouths.
I feel like that just makes it seem like, well, let's do like actual little speech bubbles.
Save. Okie dokie. Am I missing anything important? I don't think so. Okay. What I'm gonna do, because we're coming up on 2 hours, I'm going to do some very minimal shading, and then I think we're gonna call it a night. Because I am getting hungry. Because I did not eat dinner yet. I'm gonna throw that on multiply. And then we're gonna do some shading. And the shading is not really super gonna make a ton of sense because I don't really have like I have a light source, but it's magic, so it doesn't really make sense. I'm also realizing I have way too many layers that I can't actually merge to properly do this, but that's okay. I'm just gonna be extra careful. So normally what I would do is I would set up a multiply layer and then have it as a clipping group to everything underneath it so that I don't like draw outside the lines like this. So like if I put it on a clipping layer like down here, clipping group, now I can't draw outside of that. But I have too many random ass layers everywhere to bother right now. But normally that's what I would do. I'm usually a lot more careful about my layer structures, if I'm being honest, but I kind of didn't want to worry about that tonight. I kind of just wanted to fuck around and find out, as the kids say. I love the particles for magic effects. It's so simple but so effective at making it all come alive. That is literally my favorite thing to do, is just adding a bunch of nonsensical glowy particle effect BS. It just makes everything seem so much more magical and whimsical. It's my favorite thing to add to any piece. I get so excited when clients ask me to include like magical effects with their characters, or like have them like casting a spell or something. It's my favorite. Okay. What I'm also going to add, and I hope I don't forget to do that before I'm done, I do want to add a shine layer on top of this mesh shirt to kind of differentiate between the folds in it, because as you can kind of see with how I'm... Ooh. Okay. That's a fun button. I don't know what that did. I've literally never touched that before in my many years of using Painttool Sai, so I don't know. Didn't affect much, so I'm not worried about it. But you kind of can't really tell like that it's a folded material, and the multiply effect isn't really doing it any favors either. So I think adding a highlight layer will definitely help figure out where those shapes are. And we're not going to add a lot, and they don't need to be very bright because it is a very very muted sort of material. Like I said, we're just kind of doing a very general sort of shading. Not super worried about light source. I'm mostly doing it to get some of these forms to pop a little bit more, and to add just a little bit more depth without going overboard. It's already a little bit more than I did for my for the other created character stream that we did, but I am really digging how this is coming out. We made a pretty damn cool character together, y'all. I am hyped.
Just in time for Halloween. If anybody wants to implement Ron Otis McRib here in any of your games, I didn't specifically create them in mind to be a D&D character or like a D&D villain, but I did kind of imagine them as being a lich, so have at it. You're more than welcome to borrow them if you want a ridiculous villain in your campaign or in your one-shot or whatever. I might use them for something at some point. I'm sure I could find some way to bring their legacy to the real world play somewhere along the line. Let's see. There we go. And just a little bit in here. Because again, their hair is very stringy and wispy. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna edit this just a smidge because I do feel like they're just kind of blah. And maybe it's because they don't actually have line art. So what if I just did just a little bit? I didn't want them to have like a definite form, but I think having some sort of line art is gonna help my brain realize that it is indeed in the same like illustration. I think it's just a little bit too different in like not a good way of standing out. I think it's distracting. So let's fix a little bit of that. That already helps, honestly. I think here, because the values are so similar, just kind of using it to define against value. Yeah. Wow, when I say stuff like that, it makes it sound like I know what I'm doing. Okay, and we're gonna save. Okay, and now we're going to, like I said, I'm gonna throw a little bit of a shine on this shirt. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. We are gonna blend it a bit. That way you can kind of tell. Yeah, I'm gonna save. Okay. I think that is a pretty good stopping point for tonight. I'm probably going to bring it into Procreate and do a little bit of adjusting with some of the details before I post on Twitter, but I'm very happy with how our Skelly Boy turned out today. I hope you all enjoyed stream. I hope you're all having a lovely time zone of wherever it is you are. I'm going to, if you'll bear with me for a moment, I'm going to drop a couple of links in chat before we head out. If you are new here and you don't already follow me on Twitter, you can do so with this link. I post a lot of dumb bullshit and all of my art and any changes to my stream schedule. So if you're interested in any of that, that's where you would find it. If you are able to, I do have a Ko-fi if you want to toss a coffee my way, or if you want to support me monthly for some sweet exclusive bennies. Not an obligation, just something that I do have. If you are interested in commissioning me, my commissions are not currently open. They will be closed until 2022, but all of my current information, pricing, examples of my work, and the types of illustrations that I do are in that link there. Also, if you want a price quote, or if you're not really sure if a project fits in any of those tiers, feel free to reach out to me. I think that's everything. So thank you all so very much for joining me tonight. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I'm going to try to maybe stream for a little bit on Sunday. I'm not going to make any promises, but I will definitely see you all at 6 p.m. Eastern on Monday. I don't know what we're going to be doing, but I'm sure it'll be fun. All right. Thank you all so very much. Love you all. Have a great night.